What's up, y'all? Welcome to this video, and in this video I'm only giving my reaction to X-Men Dark Phoenix. I'm doing the same thing I did last week with Godzilla, where I saw the movie and I'm doing my reaction from my car, and yeah, I'm doing that for this movie right here. You see the theater right behind me, my favorite theater that I always go to, and yeah, here's my reaction just coming fresh out of seeing Dark Phoenix. And yeah, this movie, to be honest, it's a surprise this movie even got made, just following how X-Men Apocalypse sort of underperformed and how that movie just sort of left me just feeling kind of flat. I was all like, ah, man, after Days of Future Past, that movie was just a huge letdown. And with this movie right here, the sort of big deal that the marketing's made behind it, and the thing that is the kind of the big deal about the movie itself, is that this movie is the last of sort of the Fox's X-Men series, because everyone knows about the whole Disney-Fox merger, Disney buying Fox. So that means they got the right to all of Fox's Marvel stuff, X-Men and Fantastic Four. So this is going to be this Dark Phoenix is the last movie of sort of Fox's reign over the X-Men, meaning the next one will probably be completely new. So here this is movie, sort of the marketing treating this as sort of, it's like a end game, sort of the ending of the X-Men saga. And given how this movie turned out, it kind of needs to be, because man, this movie, unlike Godzilla, where I came out, where I saw the reviews and then I saw the movie, I was like, that wasn't so bad. This movie, oh man, this movie just, here's the thing, no movie that's sort of bad is bad all the way through. This movie, I think, from a lot of it, I thought the good thing about it was that it was sort of like different from X-Men Apocalypse. It felt different. It felt like more of a mature movie, where X-Men Apocalypse was just sort of like a CGI all over the place. What I'll say is that for better or worse, this movie is smaller, and I think it is maybe directed just a little bit better than that movie was. But overall, this movie, I think sort of the big principle I have with movies is that if your movie ends weak, it can just leave you feeling just really sort of flat. That's how this movie left me feeling. I feel that by the end of the movie, you could feel all the reshoots that happened with this movie. You didn't know this movie just went through a hell of a bunch of reshoots just to sort of make sort of like a decent cut of it. And for months we've been hearing about how the reactions from the test audiences were just like really bad. By the end of the movie, you really feel it. Just because I'm not going to give any spoilers about this movie, but just to say that this movie, I think that as it goes along, by the time you get to the end, it just feels like really weak. This whole conflict of the Phoenix Saga, this is a saga that people have been wanting to see X-Men fans seen done right since X-Men 3. Obviously, it's a big storyline from the comics, but this movie, I just feel like it just handled things just way too small, and by the time you get to the resolution, it's just really just sort of weak, and you can feel that it was just the movie just, you could feel that it was sort of a first-time director handling this movie. The director of this movie, Simon Kinberg, he's more of a producer, or he is a producer. This is his directorial debut, and you really feel it with this movie right here. To talk about some positive things, I still think this cast is really good. I think James McAvoy as Charles Xavier is really good. Love Michael Fassbender as Magneto. Jennifer Lawrence really isn't trying all that much as Mystique in this movie or X-Men Apocalypse. I guess she was okay, but all the other cast, like they got for young Cyclops, Storm, and Jean Grey herself, I thought they were all pretty good in the movie. I think that there's, for the most part, some pretty fun, some decent action sequences that you got. There's one that happens in the train I thought was actually really cool, and it got me thinking, all right, if this movie can keep this kind of stuff up, we could be in for a real treat right here. But this movie ended up going with the principle that happens a lot, and that's that the third act can sort of make or break your movie. By the time this movie got to the end, it was just so damn sloppy. Just nothing was put together well at all. It just felt like so rushed, so like just badly put together. When you get to a third act, your third act has got to have some pop and make you feel go like, whoa. And this movie definitely did not do that at all. And you could feel it sort of underwhelmed the audience, because the audience I was with for sort of like an opening night, you get to the end, usually the audience is going to cheer, and no one was cheering for this movie right here. It just left everyone feeling flat. And unfortunately, I've got to say that the movie itself, throughout the movie, I felt like it was leaving the audience kind of flat, even before it got to the end. Just because there wasn't a whole lot of stuff to really like get all that excited about. No real like breakout laugh moments, no sort of like crowd cheering moments. I didn't think it was terrible through most of it, but through all of it, it was just sort of like a sort of okay experience. But by the time you got to the end, it was just really like, okay, I definitely can't recommend this movie right now or anymore. So unfortunately for this movie, man, like I said, I didn't think it was terrible for most of it, but like I said, that ending part, I think, was just so weak and just like so I gotta give this like a 5 out of 10. To be honest, this as sort of like the ending for this current Fox's run of X-Men films, really disappointing. And I actually think I don't know if I think it's worse than Apocalypse, but to be honest, man, both are sort of like on the same level, but for like very different reasons. It's just really disappointing to see X-Men's Fox stuff go out this way, just because they've put out some great movies like Days of Future Past, X-Men 1 and 2, Deadpool 1 and 2, Logan, just some really great stuff over their like 19-year run they had. And to end it like this is just really disappointing. And by the end, I was all like, you know what, even though they put out some great stuff, Disney needs to come and save the X-Men. Just because if Wolverine and Deadpool if they're not in an X-Men film, then these last two ones they've done, Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, oh god, just really disappointing. And to compare it to X-Men 3, the other film that did sort of the Phoenix saga, I never thought I'd say this. I actually think X-Men 3 is probably better than this. Just because X-Men 3, it felt like more of a complete movie. In all honesty, it had more going for it than this did right here. This was just sort of slop just put together, like I said, especially at the end. And I haven't even mentioned the sort of main villain of this movie. It's not even Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix herself. It's sort of an alien that comes down to sort of do a whole bunch of bullshit. It's played by Jessica Chastain. Really weak villain, especially by the end, the way the villain goes out. Just not all that great. And one last thing before I start rambling even more. This movie, I don't know what they were thinking when it came to sort of like the final ending of this movie. This movie, it needed a really more of sort of like a definitive sort of ending, just because this movie acts like, hey, we got another sequel coming out, and it's all like, well, no you don't. This is the end of this run for this version of these characters. And I think they should have had something more sort of concrete to say, like, hey, you know what, this is the end of this saga right here. We hope you'd enjoyed it. If not, oh well. But just sort of more of a complete ending, because that's just not what you got with this movie right here. So yeah, that's enough rambling in this sort of reaction video. Like I said, X-Men Dark Phoenix, yeah, really disappointing. Definitely not worth the watch, at least in the theater. As a rental, maybe it'll be okay. Definitely not the worst X-Men movie though. That still goes to X-Men Origins Wolverine. But to be honest, it might just be overall it might be the second worst. I don't know. I'll come out with a rankings video for that pretty soon. So that's it for this reaction video. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for watching.